The Mario Rosenstock Podcast. Thanks to Hum. Finance made easy when you shop tech, electrical, appliances, kitchens and much more. Flexify Europe Limited, trading as Hum, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Coming up on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
He was just warm and welcoming, and I remember when we did the documentary on the woman's heart a few years ago, the first text I got was from Glen saying that was really beautiful.
Really?
You know, and I was, chuffed that it was Glen. Do you know that way? You were kind of going, oh God, Glen Hansard texted me. I would have known him, and I've done charity things with him, and we would have sang songs together at sessions and at parties, but it was just to get that lovely personal thing that I just thought was so lovely. He's a lovely man, and I just cannot believe he's gone.
Frances Black is one of Ireland's best-known singers, born into one of Ireland's best-known musical dynasties. Her sister is Mary Black, her nephew is Danny O'Reilly from the Coronas, her niece is Roisin O, and all of her brothers are great performers too. She also successfully reinvented herself as an independent senator, building a reputation as one of the Seanad's strongest advocates on addiction, mental health and social justice. So we had invited Frances onto the show to talk about her fascinating life and career. But the day before this recording, we learned of the tragic passing of Glen Hansard. And Glen, of course, had a very close association with Today FM over the years with all his live performances and his special, exuberant, inclusive and magnetic personality. Frances knew Glen well and was naturally reeling from the news, but she still wanted to come in and record this episode and take the opportunity to pay tribute to someone that had made such a deep impression not only on her but also on the rest of the country, judging by the national reaction to this tragic news. This is a really lovely conversation in which Frances tells me all about Glen Hansard, what a special person he was, her upbringing in the tenements of inner city Dublin, using her position as a senator to fight for social justice, and why she thinks that a woman's heart was the inspiration behind, would you believe it, the Spice Girls.
When we were over in London, Woman's Heart performed in, I don't know what the venue was, I can never remember the name of the venue, big venue anyway, the Woman's Heart was there, and Simon Fuller was there.
Yeah.
And a year later then with the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
So I still think we were the inspiration for the Spice Girls.
Absolutely.
My father was a plasterer. He was a brilliant plasterer. He used to do all the wonderful, the real articulate kind of cornices and stuff.
I do, yeah.
So he was a great plasterer, but he couldn't get work. I just don't remember a huge amount of money, and I remember her worrying about the dinner and making sure she had dinner, and she would make food out of anything. They built this factory on stolen Palestinian land. It's illegal, and then they're selling these little bottle of these creams for like $400 to all of these tourists who are coming in on buses. It's all illegal under international law.
And this went on to be the biggest selling album
that ever came out of Ireland.
It ever came out of Ireland,
Yeah.
bigger than even White Ladder by David Gray.
And I remember when I was told that the album was number one, I'm going, am I on that?
Yeah.
And they went, yeah, you're on that. Oh.
My full chat with singer and Senator Frances Black coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. But first, it's been an amazing summer for sport, festivals and things like horse racing. And we believe for the first time on this podcast, we can go over live now to Gowran Park and join Des Scahill for today's featured race. Des, thanks Mario. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
No problem.
It's a beautiful day here in Gowran Park.
Looks lovely.
And it is time for the first race of the day.
It's the kids are driving us absolutely mental in the house handicap hurdle.
I get you, yeah.
Non-runner here is number 6, school uniform.
Okay.
School uniform out till September. They're coming into line.
Okay, over to you, Des.
They're under starters orders and they're off.
Woo!
In the kids are driving us absolutely mental in the house handicap hurdle. And first to show is I'm Bored. I'm Bored, followed by Ask Your Mother. Ask Your Mother, I'm Bored. Ask Your Mother, being joined by the stablemate, Ask Your Father. Ask Your Father, can you revolute me €8 trying to get into it on the outside? Can you revolute me €8? I'm Bored. Ask Your Mother, Ask Your Father.
Go on, I'm Bored.
I'm not a taxi trying to get into it.
Go on, I'm Bored.
I'm not a taxi. I'm Bored.
Go on, I'm Bored.
Here comes the favourite. He hit me first. He hit me first. Ask Your Mother. I'm Bored, and now on the outside. You had ice cream yesterday. You had ice cream yesterday. I'm bored.
Go on, I'm bored.
not a taxi trying to get into it. Can we stay up late having a look on the inside? Can we stay up late? I'm bored. You had ice cream yesterday.
I'm bored.
And on the outside, would you ever read a feckin' book? Would you ever read a feckin' book? There's still a month to go in this seemingly never-ending race.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I'm not a taxi. He hit me first. You had ice cream yesterday. I'll pay you to empty the dishwasher. I'll pay you to empty the dishwasher. Would you not read a feckin' book? I'm bored. He hit me first. Can you revolute me €8? I'm bored takes it. I'm bored takes the...
God, I'm bored.
They're doing my head in the house mentality, whatever you call it. My brain's fried.
Back to you, Mario. Thanks, Des Scahill. And that sketch was first heard on the Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show just last week. Thank you to everybody for listening to this podcast. We can only do it because we get support from the likes of our fantastic partner, Hum. Thank you, Hum, for supporting the Mario Rosenstock podcast. Hum is a finance company who provide flexible payment solutions for customers of some of Ireland's most popular retailers, and they can help you make your purchases and pay them back in bite-sized, easy payments. Hum makes it easy for you to shop, and they also make it easy for you to listen to this show, because with their support we can continue to bring you this podcast for free. You don't have to pay for it every week. If you like it, all we ask is that you press the follow button on Apple or Spotify, whatever platform you're listening on, and spread the word by telling one other person about the show. Maybe you'll tell them about a recent interview with Craig Doyle or Lucy Kennedy or Dermot Bannon, or perhaps it was one of the new and exclusive comedy sketches that you get every week at the start of the show. Okay, over to Frances Black. Senator Frances Black. There was so much to chat with Frances about her life and career in music and politics, etc. But we had to start by remembering the great Glen Hansard, who had passed away in such tragic and shocking circumstances just the day before we met.
So, Frances, I'm delighted to have you on the podcast, and we had you booked in, and then this really, really tragic news happened about Glen yesterday.
Oh.
And I think a lot of us are not surprised, but kind of a lot of us are taken aback by the extent of the reaction.
Well, I think shock.
Glen's passing.
I think the shock, anyway, for me, is just, I think that's the most difficult piece for me, is the shock, because he was such a vibrant, kind of magnetic soul that brought people together. And, he kind of led, he was kind of a leader in the sense of just music. And I don't mean that as in the music industry. I'm just talking about in the world, because he could be playing to a huge, big stadium of 1,000 people or 5,000 people. But then the next night he could be sitting in a pub down in the local, and he would be doing the exact same thing. But he would be bringing people together, And I think that's what, he was just so down to earth. There was no airs and graces about him, and he was just a beautiful soul. And it's just devastating for his family, his partner, his wife, his beautiful little boy Christy, all his friends, his family, extended family, all the people that loved him. The frames, the crew, his management, the people who were in the pub with him the other night.
Yeah.
It's just devastating.
There are a lot of people, rock stars and comedians and musicians and stuff, who kind of try to curate their public image to try and make you think that they're down to earth, or that they're relatively down to earth. Yeah. They're very careful about that, and it's hard. It's like people can't be fooled that easily, and you can kind of see through it. People don't really remark about it; they just kind of know. Yeah. They kind of know that person's grand. Yeah, they're grand, but they're not like. They're pretending they're a bit more down to earth.
They're not authentic.
They're not authentic.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's fine.
Yeah, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. He was genuinely authentic. Anytime you met him, he always had a smile. He always had a hug, and he was never precious, if you know what I mean. He never looked down on anybody else's music. And I thought that's very special.
He wasn't a musical snob.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to kind of explain. So he'd never, he'd never looked down on the likes of me because, I brought out music 40 years ago or whatever. He was just warm and welcoming. And, I remember when we did the documentary on the woman's heart a few years ago, the first text I got was from Glen saying that was really beautiful.
Really?
And And I was, chuffed that it was Glen. Do you know that way? You were kind of going, oh God, Glen Hansard texted me. I would have known him, and I've done charity things with him, and we would have sang songs together at sessions and at parties. But it was just to get that lovely personal thing that I just thought was so lovely. He's a lovely man, and I just cannot believe he's gone. Cannot believe.
So there was a warmth really about him, wasn't there?
And a magnetic thing.
Yeah, and a leader. He'd stand out front because he'd go. Well, and I don't mean that just about music. In relation to the homelessness thing as well.
Yeah.
Brendan Ogle was on
his activism. He was very passionate.
And Brendan Ogle was on with Matt Cooper yesterday, and he talked about his activism.
Yeah, with Apollo and everything. And I would have been down there around that time.
Were you?
And he was so. He played such an important role in that. You know what I mean? Because he was the one that got heard. Do you know what I mean? And I know Christy Moore was there as well. There was a few others, but they're the voices that get heard in that story. It's not, sometimes the activists don't get heard, or the homeless people certainly don't get heard. But Glen was always out there, speaking on behalf of the vulnerable.
He was. And do you know what? I was just coming in this morning and I was thinking, what a tragic death, but also what's going on, Frances? Like in the last couple of years, right? We've lost Sinead O'Connor, right? We've lost Dolores O'Riordan, Christy Dignam, Shane McGowan, Dolores Kane.
I know. Moya Brennan.
Damn it.
Moya Brennan, what unbelievable.
God, I knew
that
Moya.
That was another huge shock.
Moya
Dolores,
Brennan.
It's just terrible. I mean, it's
too many of these.
Too many. And too young.
Too young.
Do you know what I mean? Way too young. Sinead O'Connor as well. I'm sure you mentioned Sinead. Like, just way too young. And it's like, what's going on? Why? Why are these amazing, legendary people allowed to leave us? It's like, don't go. Don't go. Please don't go.
We are a country that cares about storytelling and ballads and folk.
And we're very proud of our music, and we're very proud of
very people
who represent Ireland.
They're all in the same
on the world stage.
They're all in the same genre.
Yeah,
all of these people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
these are not like, let's say, your typical total rock and rollers. No. These are like storytellers.
Yeah. But that's Ireland as well for you. I mean, anybody that, I think a lot of Irish people who are on the world stage, it comes from the soul. I mean, that's Irish music, I think, isn't it, in general? We know how to do it from the heart, and I think all of those people that you mentioned who have gone, it all came from they were full of soul.
And so many of them women.
Yeah, I know.
Not to be slightly maudlin about it, but women live way longer. Women live longer than men.
I know.
Your average lifespan for a woman in Ireland is 87, 88.
Yeah, I know. It's just, and
these beautiful, great women.
Beautiful legends, that are now gone before us, and they have left unbelievable. It
must have affected
legacies.
You in your mind hearing when Sinead O'Connor and
of course
Dolores and Moya,
they were all people that would have been in my kind of milieu, I would have met Dolores O'Riordan many years ago at a festival, and I think it was their first festival, and I was singing with a group called the Fallen Angels, like 5 women singers. We were just doing unaccompanied stuff, so we were like, oh my God, like there's Dolores, and and it was, so that would have been my only time that I would have met with Dolores. Of course I would have known Christy Dignam as well, we would have recorded, myself, Christy and Glen, I think, recorded a charity single many years ago for homelessness. So all of those people. Moya was doing a gig in January. My daughter was doing a Tradfest gig, and she would bring in people to sing, and Moya was one of those people. And I had arranged to meet Moya actually next weekend up in Gweedore in Donegal, and like I knew she had to wear the oxygen mask, but I never ever realised. And she got up and she sang with her lovely son and daughter that night, and I never ever realised how bad it was. What
a beautiful woman she was.
Oh my God, there's another magnet of love.
I've only with all these people, I've only like one or two little. I mean, I remember Glen would be coming in and out of Today FM doing his sessions and stuff. These memorable sessions, these great sessions he did. I was listening to him yesterday singing an acoustic version of Britney Spears' song "Every Time." Oh. He totally changed this pop song and just stripped it down, made it beautiful, more beautiful than it already is. But he'd be in, just exchange it. But I remember once I was out on the Lash. And you know the way you'd go to this place and you'd go to these kind of she beans in Dublin. Mm-hmm. Back in the day now, Frances.
Oh, I know, well before.
Back in the day.
When it was okay to go to she beans. Where you'd go to these
she beans. But they'd serve food, but the only reason you'd go there is to get the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And they'd be packed.
Right.
And you'd see some of the heads in, and I remember exchanging mischievous glances from one table to another between me and Glen, and that kind of really mischievous look in his eye, Yeah. And Moya, I remember then once I was doing the Late Late Show, and I did, she was doing the Late Late Show as well, and I was doing Flatley, and I came up to the green room afterwards, and we were watching the Late Late Show on the telly, or both of our faces looking up at the telly, and she's just looking up and she says to me, "You know he hates it, don't you?" And I went, "What?" "Flatley."
Oh my God.
And I went, "Does he?"
Yeah.
He hates it.
Oh, he hates it.
Me doing the Flatley.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And she just laughed. She was just looking at the TV grinning.
That should be an honour.
Oh yeah.
When you're taking off people, that's an honour.
Yes. And did you know Shane and McGowan, or did you?
I would have met Shane that time at that festival. I met Shane McGowan and the Pogues at that festival that Dolores O'Riordan was playing at. I can't remember. It was somewhere in Switzerland. It was some big festival. I can't even remember the name, but I'm hopeless. That kind of stuff.
And what was Dolores like?
She was lovely. She was kind of shy.
Yeah.
She was a little bit self-conscious, if I remember rightly. Now, they were only kind of starting off, so she was very young. Yeah. She was only, I'd say, probably, she could have been late teens, early 20s. So she was very young. And of course, we were all sitting having a sing-song. And Shane, it was like a session after we all did our gig. We were doing support. Me and the Fallen Angels were doing support to the Pogues. Oh my God. And we were so the opposite to the Pogues, like 5 women singing unaccompanied songs. A cappella was like, oh, here, how did we even get here? Yeah. And actually, Eilish Moore, she was in it. I don't know if you know Eilish. She was Christy's sister. I shouldn't be describing it that way, but she would have been a very good friend of mine. She's passed away as well. Another icon. And another legend, let me add, and a very dear friend of mine. She was at that festival as well. Yes. We'd never laughed as much in all our living long days. 5 women on the road. Couldn't believe our luck that we were at this festival with all these amazing mega stars. Yeah. And we just laughed. Yeah. We were up till 6 o'clock in the morning, at that time. So.
And how are you, Frances? You look amazing.
I'm good. I'm okay.
You look great.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm very sad today now, I have to say, about Glen. But I'm generally okay. I'm in a good space. I'm kind of, as you know, I'm in Leinster House, and we're kind of on recess, even though I'm back and forth and still in the office, but it's not as busy. So that's really nice. I'm in the Seanad.
And so what you've been in the Seanad now for what, 10 years?
10 years, yeah. 10 years this year.
How have you found that?
It's been challenging, I would say. I'm in a great group.
Is it anything like you thought it would be?
You work much harder than people think you do. I didn't think that people in the Seanad worked hard. But I know me and the group I'm in with the civil engagement group, we work really hard. We're very, very, obviously very passionate about social justice issues. And we're all kind of on the same page with regards to, even though we're all independents, 4 independent women. There's myself, Alice Mary Higgins, Lynn Ruan, Eileen Flynn, and we're very much on the same page. But we've tried tooth and nail for...
What are your top concerns at the moment?
Well, obviously, Palestine would be a big one from my perspective. I know Lynn is very passionate about drugs decriminalisation. Alice Mary is just passionate about so many social justice issues. She is a legend, that woman. And then Eileen would be very much fighting for traveller issues and stuff like that. So,
and from your perspective, right, are you kind of a little mini group then?
We're just, the 4 of us work together. You have to kind of form a group when you go in there. Otherwise, you don't get speaking rights.
Exactly. So from your perspective, let's say the 4 of you, right?
Yeah.
How would you mark the government on these issues?
We challenge them.
No, but how would you mark them?
How would I mark them? Now, on which issues are you talking about?
Okay, so for example, let's talk about social justice, and let's talk about Palestine, for example.
Yeah.
I
think the government
grade would you give them?
Should and can do a lot more. Like full sanctions is what I'd love to see. But obviously, I introduced the Occupied Territories Bill almost 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago now. That should have been passed 9 years ago. And in the last general election, it was promised by the government, by the two leading parties at the time, Micheál Martin and
What is
Daniel
the Occupied Territories Bill?
Well, the Occupied Territories Bill is a bill to ban goods and services from the occupied territories. Okay, so what Israel they're in the West Bank, right? And it's war crimes what they're doing there, and they're robbing people's land, they're taking people's homes, and it's all war crimes under international law. They're breaking the law. Okay, and there's no consequences. So what they're doing is they're terrorising people. They have moved people out of their homes and put them into kind of camps, and the world is watching, the international community is watching. So what I wanted to do with this bill was to ban any goods or services that come from the West Bank, where at the occupied illegal occupied territories in the West Bank. I want to ban all goods and services from there, because that's consequence of them breaking the law, of Israel breaking the law and committing war crimes. Just
to be clear about that, when you say the goods coming from the Occupied Territories Bill, is that not affecting the people that are already living there?
No, because they're goods and services from stolen land.
All right, okay.
So they've stolen the land.
So you're saying that they're goods and services that Israel are selling from stolen land?
Yeah, they're stolen land.
Okay.
For example, vegetables, a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's this unbelievable cosmetic factory down just off the Red Sea, down at the end of the West Bank, and I went into their factory and they're selling they've built this factory on stolen Palestinian land. It's illegal, and all of the stuff that they're using for their cosmetics comes from, again from the Red Sea, and so it all comes from around that area. And then they're selling these little bottle of these creams for like $400 to all of these tourists who are coming in on buses, and it's all illegal what they're doing under international law because it's on stolen land and stolen property, and yet it's still being sold. So what we're trying to do is just ban all that kind of stuff. And
what's the status with the Occupied Territories Bill?
Well, we got the goods. Thankfully, we got the goods done. So
that's done.
So now we have to do services. Yeah. So
what are services?
Services are like, for example, you have the likes of Airbnb or Booking.com, who are going. How they do it is, say, a settler could go in, take somebody's Palestinian home, right? Set it up as an Airbnb, and you could go on Airbnb and rent out that home and go and spend your holiday in the West Bank, wherever it might be. And that Palestinian person wouldn't be able to do that because of the apartheid regime, because they're not allowed to go down certain roads, they're not allowed to drive on certain roads, they have to go all the back ways, It's an apartheid regime. So the Palestinian people are treated like horrifically.
So if I'm following,
and it's getting worse, might I add. The settler violence are now armed and they're terrorising the people in the West Bank. It's off the Richter scale, Mario. It's off the Richter scale.
And if I'm following you correctly, so you would say that the government has done something.
They have done goods, and now my job, and it took me 10 years to get there, or 9 years to get there, almost 10 years. So now my job is to start up the campaign. I've been working on this campaign for a long time, and now it's to do services.
And what about social justice issues? What kind of issues do you think the government... how are they doing on those issues?
Well,
what issues are most concerning?
I feel homelessness is huge, and I think definitely there has to be more done around homelessness, and they just need to build houses. They just need to build houses for people who can't afford. We all know every single family in this country is impacted. I have, my daughter. It's not possible for her to buy a house certainly in Dublin. But,
do you think it's their fault, or do you think it's a problem of our system?
It's definitely I think we just need to build more houses. The government need to build more houses. Like, I remember when I was growing up.
Build more houses?
Of course, they have lots of money. They have a lot of money in reserve that they could build houses. There's no reason for them not to. But what they have is kind of they, you know, they want to kind of support the private companies. And well, there's no problem supporting private companies and private builders and all of that. But there has to be a balance. You know, they need to go in and build, you know, definitely build more council homes for people. Like they did, you know, if you remember when, well, in my day, you were a bit young, but like, you know, we were born where not too far from here, Charlemont Street. We all lived in the tenements. You know, there was the house next door to us. There was about 10 families, and in each family, you know, there were very big families back then. You know, but a lot of those families would have got moved up. They got houses in Crumlin or Drimna, or you know, that doesn't happen anymore. Those houses are not being built.
Where is the new era of social housing?
Where is the new era of real social council housing, and why are they not looking after the people who are vulnerable in that area? So there's a lot of people people who are living on minimum wage. How do people live in Dublin on a minimum wage? I don't know how you.
Minimum wage.
Yeah.
There's a new report out this week saying a couple on 113,000 a year can't afford a house.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's,
like,
you know,
my
a long way from minimum
my daughter
wage.
works like a Trojan, and it's not and so does her partner, her husband,
Yeah.
and neither of them are going to be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
And certainly not even in the country, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, because
Where do you come from? Like you mentioned tenements there.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your upbringing like?
We lived in Charlemont Street, a wonderful place to be born and reared. It's gone now. I mean, it's all, you know, very highfalutin. It's all big fancy apartments and it's lovely. Like, it's all very nice. But we lived in Charlemont Street, very working class, you know, tenement houses, you know, and that's, everybody lived in tenement houses. It was no big deal. I was the youngest of 5.
Can I just sound, I don't want to sound ridiculous here, right? So I'll let myself sound ridiculous. I'll throw myself to the wolves, right?
Yeah, okay.
What the hell is a tenement house? Like, what's a tenement house? You say tenement, right?
So there were
What is a tenement house? Is it a 4-story house like at Henrietta Street?
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
like 70 people living in that.
Yes, exactly.
Is that what you mean by tenement?
Exactly. But there wouldn't have been 70 people living in the house we lived in. There was probably about 2 or 3 families. So there was the bottom floor.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now. And then there was the middle floor, and then there was 3 stories. But in the house next door, it was much bigger.
More dense.
So there would have been 4 stories in the house next door, but there was a lot more families.
So were you very squashed in?
Well, I don't remember being squashed in because there wasn't that many families living. So there was an old woman living down next door, Mrs. Brady, and then Mr. and Mrs. Goss lived on
Mr. and
Mrs. Goss lived on the next floor, right? But then my mother and father had the kitchen here. And then there was the Smiths who lived upstairs, but I think Mammy and Daddy had 1 bedroom upstairs as well. So there was 3 rooms upstairs. Do you know what I'm saying to you?
Okay.
So the Smiths...
So did you share bedrooms and everything?
Yes, but when I was growing up, I don't remember because I'm the youngest of 5. So they obviously would have rented out more bedrooms as we got older and as people got houses.
Yeah.
Because my parents were offered a house in Crumlin, but my mother didn't want to go.
Did she
do you
not?
know why she didn't want to go? Because her mother lived in Dolphin's Barn, right in Cork Street. She was from the Liberties. And there was no buses up to Crumlin.
Okay.
But there was a bus from Kelly's Corner down to where her mother lived.
Yeah, so she wanted to stay close to
Crumlin
her
was
mother.
like kind of out the country.
Totally was. I remember that.
Like when you think
No,
of
I
it, it was
remember
only
hearing
up
that, yeah.
over the bridge.
It was.
Really, like.
But there was no infrastructure, yeah.
There was no infrastructure.
So
was
she
saying,
wanted to be near her mummy.
How would I get to see my mother every weekend?
Correct.
Like, she used to have to go and mind her mother. And that was what happened.
right.
Every Saturday and Sunday, she'd have to go down and visit Granny. Yeah. And we'd all go down with her and we'd all play, you know.
So are your memories of childhood happy?
I had nice memories. I know.
I mean, do you remember, like, for example, when you say poor and working class?
Yeah.
Does that
I remember.
Does that affect your emotional state of being? Did you feel poor? Did you feel oppressed?
No.
Or did you feel, you know what, there was community,
there was community, there was no, I didn't feel poor. Now, I'm sure, I have no doubt my mother used to worry. I know she did, especially when my father couldn't get work. My father was a plasterer. He was a brilliant plasterer. You know, he used to do all the wonderful, you know, the real articulate kind of cornices and stuff.
I do, yeah.
So he was a great plasterer, but there was times
architraves and things.
Yeah.
Those things.
But he couldn't get work. And sometimes he'd have to go down the country and I just don't remember a huge amount of money. And I remember her worrying about the dinner and making sure she had dinner, and she would make food out of anything. You know, she'd get a bit of bacon and and it could be very fatty bacon, and she'd throw in potatoes and onion and a bit of corn flour, and that was your dinner, and loads of salt. Do you know what I mean? It was delicious.
Yeah.
But like, I know that there was times, but she eventually then went out to work herself, and she would clean schools, and she wouldn't be she was a very independent, tough cookie, and took great pride in the fact.
Was she healthy and strong?
She was. And she used to work up in Carroll's, a cigarette factory up in the canal. And I'd come home from school and I'd drop off my bag and go up and sit outside waiting for her.
Did she smoke?
She was a smoker.
Yeah. Was she able to smoke the Carroll cigarettes?
I don't know if she got them for free.
Yeah.
I don't think so. She was kind of a Players Wales smoker. She loved the Players. And then she went on to Sweet Afton for a while.
Jesus.
But
the bullets we used to call them.
I know.
They were they
and
had
she
sawn-off shotguns.
She lasted until she was 86, which is
she?
amazing. But
86?
86 for a smoker.
And
now,
your
she
dad?
stopped smoking. He had just turned 80, or he would have been maybe 81.
Still a good age.
Yeah. Good ages, yeah.
Good age
Both of them big, serious smokers.
Okay.
And would have been players and all of that, yeah. But, so it was like,
Was your home a happy enough home?
it was happy enough, apart from the anxiety that I know my mother used to have. I knew she struggled with a bit of anxiety, and I worried about that. I worried about her anxiety, and I tried to fix things for her. Do you know what I mean? I was always kind of trying to make sure that.
And how many of you were there?
There was 5 of us, but I was the youngest. Me and Martin were the youngest, me and my brother. There was like 2 different families. I don't know if you know, there was 5 of us in the family, but the eldest 3 were in that gang.
Yeah.
And then me and Martin were in this gang.
Remember My Left Foot?
Yeah.
That was that style there of the family.
Yeah.
There were a few grown up ones.
Yeah.
Christy was grown up.
Yeah.
And then there were a few younger ones.
Yeah,
as
Frankie,
well.
I knew Frankie.
They'd had an afterthought. They'd had an accident.
That's right. And I remember Frankie, he was a really good friend of mine. Frankie Brown, he was a very dear friend of mine.
Frankie Brown?
Frankie Brown, he was Christy's brother.
Is that right?
Yeah, and...
that's amazing that I just mentioned
he
that.
lived in the original house.
Let Christy take it.
Yeah, that was probably Frankie.
Let Christy take it. My son, Christy Brown, genius.
Come here,
Ray
Brenda Fricker as well was another
Brenda
woman we
Fricker.
lost recently, by the way. We never mentioned her
Brenda
either.
Fricker, God love her. What a beautiful actress.
Beautiful woman.
What
beautiful
a heart
woman.
and soul. Again, the heart of a storyteller.
And reminded me of my mother. Yeah. The women were amazing back then. They were amazing.
Bottle.
Yeah, and nobody was going to touch their
stand
child.
up for her.
Oh, my mother used to be obsessed. And I'd go up and tear the veil off that one.
They were the family.
My mother used to talk about the nuns. God forgive me, right? Yeah. And I'm so sorry.
Was your mother like Brenda Fricker in My Left Foot in the sense that she was the backbone of the family?
Backbone, the heart and soul of the family. Oh, the heart and all the women were, as far as I could see back then, all the women back in the day.
And did your dad like a pint?
He loved his pint.
Right.
He was up in he would go, I always went up.
And less so the mother.
Oh, Mammy never drank. She never drank. At Christmas time, what was the thing they used to have?
Sherry? Or a brandy?
It was a baby sham. What was the yellow thing? But
Snowball.
It wasn't. The snowball.
Snowball. Let Christy take it.
It's gas, isn't it? Ah, God, it was good times.
Yeah.
Mario, it was good times. We did have lovely times.
You did. So the memories are good. And
we had sing-songs, but the sing-songs were like...
Was your mother able to sing?
Oh,
or your dad?
Listen to me.
Both.
Where do you want me to start on my mother?
My
father came from Rathlin Island. Now, people have heard this story so many times.
In the north?
In the north.
Strange little island.
That's beautiful, beautiful little island.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's the only island in the 6 counties, but it's a little L shape. I'll be going up there now next week.
Yeah.
I'm up there nearly as much as I'm in Dublin. As soon as I can get out of Dublin, I'm up there.
A few people live there.
Yeah, there's 107. My cousins grew up there, and and...
Do you go out in a boat?
You go out in a boat. The boat, the ferry kind of crossing is about 40 minutes, and then you can get a fast boat, which is a half an hour. But in rough seas, 160 ships went down around Rathlin because of the rough seas. But anyway, my father came from Rathlin Island. He was a banjo player. All the blacks in Rathlin played music, right? Traditional music. My mother, who came from inner city Dublin, Cork Street, she was the old music hall type singer.
Oh,
so she had the old music hall songs, right? And they were her party piece. And then my father would sing all the old...
Can you think of a music hall song? Kind of.
Well, After the Ball is Over. After the Ball is Over. That was one of hers. She had a few funny ones. Then there was Bird in a Gilded Cage. Now I Have to Call Him Father, which is about, I sing that at my gig sometimes, just in remembrance of her. And it's about a young woman who brings her lovely boyfriend home to meet the mother, and he falls in love with the mother and ends up running off the mother. This is an old music hall song. Talk about Jerry
dark.
Springer. Like, this was like stuff that...
Yeah, I married a horse.
Yeah.
Bring him out. She's from Charlemont Street in Dublin. She brought him home to meet the daughter. She ended up marrying the father.
That's what my mother used to sing. I swear to God. And there was other ones as well, other kind of funny ones that she used to sing. But she'd hundreds of songs. Hundreds of them.
And she was able to belt it out.
She would, when I say belt it out, like if my mother went out for a night later on in her life, not when she was younger because they never went out, but later on, if there wasn't a sing song, then it was brutal night. It was terrible. That was terrible night if she didn't get to sing a song.
Where would she sing a song?
Anywhere.
But where would they be?
In a pub.
In a pub, but she wouldn't be drinking.
No, she never drank, but say if she came to a gig and we all went to a bar afterwards, right? And she was after, we were at Mary or me would be in the Olympia or something, right? And we'd go into the bar afterwards. And unless there was a sing song, she wouldn't have enjoyed the night. Do you know what I mean?
So the sing song was the night.
She had to have the sing song.
Lovely.
She had to have the sing song. Yeah. And she had to entertain, you know.
So you and Mary, when like you became singers. So like, but were you the only two singers in the house then?
Oh no, my brothers.
Do they
like
sing
the Black Family, we made 2 Black Family albums or 3 Black Family albums.
Yeah.
So Shay is the eldest, right? Shay would have been a song collector from the time he was 13, and he saved up to buy a guitar when he was 13. Then he got the guitar, and then he started to sing and play songs. It was all around the folk kind of scene, like Donald Lunny was in a, you know, there was Scara Bray, there was, you know, the Negonals, and there was the Bothy Band and the Chieftains. There was all that kind of era, and they were all starting out, and it was really cool. And then he picked up the guitar. My brother picked up the banjo, Michael, and Mary was singing from the time she was in the pram. I mean, our Mary has the most incredible voice, power, unbelievable. Like, she was a soloist in the choir. So she was just, she, not unlike Glen Hansard for singing, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean by that? Passion, just pure passion for singing. Then my next brother was Martin, and he played the fiddle. But then I was the kind of runt of the litter because I didn't play any instruments or anything, and I wasn't really a singer, if you know what I mean, or I certainly wasn't considered a singer. So it was only they had all gone off to America, and I was left behind because I was going to school. And when they came back, they were going to do a little folk club tour around Ireland, and only that I pleaded with Shay, the eldest brother, to go, and I didn't even want to go and sing. I just wanted to go and hang out with them all because they were so cool. Like, they were all hippies. Do you know what I mean? And they were all really cool. And, you know, Shay had the afro and the flares and the, you know, they were all like my idols. So they brought me along, and Shay got me to sing then, you know, you'd sing 2 songs on the night, but you only had to sing a couple of verses, and then they'd all sing with you on the chorus.
So you felt protected.
So I didn't feel nervous with them.
But did you grow as a singer or develop into a singer, or did you? Do you know what I mean? Did they, as you say, you were the runt? So like,
I was the runt.
Did you kind of like start out just kind of giving it a little bit of a lash and grow from there?
Oh, definitely. I think what happened.
So you developed your confidence as a singer. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think I only developed confidence later on in my life. I really struggled with my own self-confidence with regards to be a singer because, you know, all my family were incredible singers. Do you know what I mean?
I do. So
every single one of them had amazing voices. So
you felt to yourself, I'm not even the 4th best singer in my own house.
I didn't have a strong voice. Yeah. I had a kind
of... But Nanci Griffith said you have the sweetest voice of Ireland.
I know. I definitely had a sweeter voice, but I was quiet. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So because I was quiet, and this is what I didn't. I thought if you sang in a session, you would, you know, to be a good singer, you had to be able to sing enough to shut people down. Yeah. People would stop talking.
And is Mary's voice, so you have, let's say, a quiet, sweet voice.
I've quiet.
Is Mary's voice totally different to yours?
Mary's voice is, Mary can sing anything. Okay. So Mary can be sweet, but she has power. So she's great control of her power. You know, Roisin is the same. Roisin has a really big, really powerful voice. Roisin, my daughter got married last weekend, and Roisin sang a Celine Dion song. And I'm not telling you a word of a lie, Mario. She was better. If she was as good as, if not better. Yeah. It was, I was crying listening to her, literally. But anyway.
I was watching, sorry, just to interrupt there for a second, because about Mary's voice. I was watching, there's a seminal episode of Reeling in the Years.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember which year the year is. But it's the 80s, and it's either 80. It could be 86.
Yeah.
Right. And the last clip is of a fella with an old moustache on him, and he looks much older than he is.
They all did back then.
Yeah.
We all did back
probably
then.
27. But
We all looked older.
About 40.
Yeah.
And he went, I don't know. Nothing for me here. So I think I'll just get out of the country. And it was sad.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah,
sad.
yeah. Who he's been interviewed. Oh,
Yeah,
right,
and he's
okay,
just on the street, Vox Pop, and he's
Oh,
going,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing for me here.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love
It was
to
a
stay
very
here, but
sad
there's nothing
time.
for me here. I just have to go away.
Yeah.
And he has to go away, and it's the end of the episode, and you just see an Aer Lingus jet taking off, and it brings tears to your eyes. What really brings tears to your eyes is Mary Black's voice singing, "As I leave behind Nadine."
Yeah.
Oh my God, such sweet, beautiful vocals on that Jimmy McCarthy song.
Oh my God, Jimmy McCarthy.
And her voice in that is so plaintive.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful song, but Mary has a beautiful voice. And I know I'm a bit biased, but really and truly, like.
And have you always been, did you ever feel a sibling rivalry with her?
I never felt sibling rivalry because to me, Mary was my hero and still is, to be honest with
and
you.
Mary's a
But
goddess in Ireland.
Not because of her voice and her singing. There was obviously that, and she was cool and all of that, and but for me it was her. Mary is like the matriarch of our family, so she's like bit like what we were saying about Glen. She has this ability to just bring people together, but particularly family. Mary adores family. She's one of the kindest, most compassionate people I know. And her Mary, on my word of honour, she'd invite you up to the house, and she knows how to entertain and cook at the same time. I can't get my head around that. I couldn't do that. If I'm cooking, I'm cooking. But I can't talk to people and be a wonderful hostess and go around and give people drinks and all. That's not, that doesn't come natural to me whatsoever. If I'm cooking the dinner, I'm cooking the dinner. If I'm sitting talking to somebody, I'm sitting talking to somebody. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm pouring drinks. But she can do all of that without even you noticing. Do you know that way? And she can mind babies in the middle of it all, and she could probably do a painting or something.
What about, so again, I'm just looking at your eyes, and I was thinking about Mary's eyes there.
Yeah.
She has these, and you kind of have it as well, you have these kind of luminous blue eyes.
Mary's green eyes.
Sorry, it's the luminous, there's a luminosity to it.
Yeah.
And you can see it pop out through the television for all the years.
Yeah.
Where does the look come from? Because she was very dark.
Yeah.
And these kind of green eyes. It's just peculiar, strange.
So
beautiful.
Shay is my colour and has the lightest blue eyes I've ever seen in my life. Then Michael has red hair and freckles, right? And then Mary and Martin are like something from a Greek island.
I know, it's Raven.
Martin is like a Greek god. Yeah. Mary is like a Greek goddess. Yeah. They're and both have green eyes. Yeah. And then I'm I'm light with bright blue eyes.
Bright blue eyes, yeah.
So like...
Funny.
So my father would have been very dark. The Rathlin... So there were definitely Mary and Martin.
Spaniards.
Yeah, I'd say
that's
so.
Spanish coming around the top of Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
They did that a lot. You see them in Limerick as well.
Yeah, and then
Cork.
the Vikings. We were the other side of the Vikings, like with the with the deities. That's me. Yeah. So my mother was a deity. So yeah, we're all probably on my mother's side, definitely. Yeah. The other three are on the mother's side. And
in you're in the Seanad for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and it's harder work than you said it would be. And have you been able to keep singing? And have you wished to keep singing? And how do you keep singing? And where do you keep singing?
Oh, me and Mary Coughlin and Sharon Shannon are on the road all the time. Yeah. Now, in between our own solo gigs. So we were in Castlebar this Saturday night.
Where?
The Traveller's Friend.
Yeah. The theatre.
Yeah. And
Pat Jennings.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to be on Saturday night. Great. And then
And who's there? That's you and Sharon?
Me, Mary and Sharon.
Wow.
It's a great gig.
Yeah.
It's
Mary
really...
is something else.
Oh my God. The two of them are like... I can't talk about legends. Like Sharon is the most beautiful human being you could ever meet. And she's genuine and happy. And then Mary is this unbelievably powerhouse... a goddess type, if you know what I mean,
Yeah, I
like
know
from the
Mary well.
west
Sorry,
of
when I
Ireland.
said I don't know Mary well. I've interviewed Mary a few times, and she's been on the Breakfast Show a good few times.
Yeah.
And we've always loved her. Like, I mean,
But have you ever gone to her gigs?
yeah, I've been at several of Mary's gigs.
Yeah,
and she's
and then
just,
and then Sharon is Sharon, and then I'm me. I'm kind of in the middle, you know. So
what do you do at the gigs? What kind
So
of?
say Mary goes on first, right? Mary
okay.
does. Sometimes I'll go on first. Depends on if we're on one of us to be late or whatever. So and then either myself or Mary will go on first or second. Then there's a break. Then Sharon comes on, and then at the end we all come on together, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to
Good
do.
nights.
Mental.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy stuff. But anyway,
Where could I find out information about it? Is it online and stuff?
I think it does be online. I mean, Mary,
How are you?
we're terrible. I'm not very good at the online stuff.
Self-publicity.
I have it on, say, I put it on I have a guy who does my website and I've given him the date. So he puts them on the website.
What's your website?
Just francesblack.ie.
Okay, great.
I think that's what it is anyway. francesblack.ie. But then I'm doing gigs then in, say, in Belfast and Derry in September. I'm doing Limerick. I'm doing Dolan's in Limerick.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm doing, do you know what I'm really looking forward to? I'm going over to Enniscrone sometime
In Sligo?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that gig because I've always wanted to, to go. And I think I might have heard this man talking about having a plane on a beach
Oh yeah.
in Enniscrone.
That's right.
And I remember thinking, I really want to go there. And then I was offered to do a gig there. But then I'm doing the Civic Theatre in Tala for Tradfest in the new year as well.
Great.
So, like, there's lots of lovely things. And then we've loads of gigs next year with Mary and Sharon. So there's loads of lovely things happening.
Mary and Sharon,
Yeah.
yeah. And of course, the other thing that I wrote down on my thing is the never to be forgotten woman's heart.
I know.
Yeah. So you
was
were a part of that.
Yeah.
And that was what, 92, was it, or something?
Yeah, it was 92, I would say. How that all came about was just,
Yeah, why did that strike such a chord?
So Dara Records, who was Mary's husband's record company, if you know what I mean, they're like him and Paul O'Reilly. Joe and Paul O'Reilly were two brothers, and Mary's married to Joe. And they had a record company called Dara Records. And Paul and Joe were always putting loads of compilation albums. They did it all the time. In between, I brought out an album with Dara. Mary brought out albums. Other people, Paddy Riley, loads of people. But in between that, then they'd bring out compilations. So one of them suggested that we bring out a compilation with women. So obviously Mary was going to be on it. I was delighted because I had recorded with Kieran Goss, an album with Kieran Goss, and then I'd recorded with a band called Arcady. And I was part of two albums.
And when you say Kieran Goss, right, that isn't the same Goss that you said the family was in.
No. Kieran comes from Warren, Mayo Bridge, up in Newry, and he's a brilliant singer-songwriter. You have to listen to his brand new start. But anyway, he's loads of albums since then. But me and Kieran brought out an album. Then I had an album with Arcady. Then there was two tracks taken. One was taken off the Frances Black Kieran Goss, and one was taken off the Arcady album and placed on this compilation album. And there was Sharon had an album, so there was two tracks taken off her. More O'Connell. Everybody went, oh yeah, grand. Yeah, take it, do it. Some of us didn't even know what was going to happen. We didn't even know, And and then Mary recorded.
Just the names.
Excuse me.
So Mary, you.
Mary, my sister. Sharon, Dolores, Eleanor McAvoy. Mary and Eleanor recorded the song A Woman's Heart. Dolores and myself. So there were six of us. Am I forgetting anybody? So Mary, Dolores, Eleanor, Maura, myself and Sharon.
Okay.
Six of us.
Yeah.
And I remember the song A Woman's Heart. I remember thinking, because it was played off the radio.
It was, yeah.
Thinking, wow, it's such a great song. But still not connecting the dots that it was actually, that I was on the compilation. Do you know, I knew that Mary had recorded this song with Eleanor, and Eleanor wrote the song, but I didn't connect the dots that was the album I was on, because you just you weren't told. And
this went on to be the biggest selling album
that ever came out of Ireland.
It ever came out of Ireland,
Yeah.
bigger than even White Ladder with David Gray.
And I remember when I was told that the album was number one, I'm going, am I on that?
Yeah.
And they went, yeah, you're on that. Wow.
God.
And then all of a sudden, one of the tracks, Wall of Tears, started to get played on the radio.
Okay.
you know, all of the tracks started to get played on the radio, and Sharon was getting played, and Maura was getting played, and Dolores was getting played.
Brilliant.
So all the other tracks were getting played.
Yeah.
You know, so each one of the songs, it became then...
Caught a wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing time. And it was all around the time that, you know, Mary Robinson got elected, and women were kind of starting to kind of, you know, look at, you know, contraception was always an issue, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, divorce and marriage, and, you know, women were always kind of like fighting for their rights at the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was starting to like really come to the fore.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was amazing.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Exactly. We actually sang that on one of the Women's Heart tours, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
I still think to this day, and I said this tongue-in-cheek on a radio program a few weeks ago, I said it tongue-in-cheek, but when we were over in London, the Women's Heart performed in, I don't know what the venue was, I can never remember the name of the venue. It was a big venue anyway, the Women's Heart was there, and Simon Fuller was there.
Yeah.
And a year later then we had the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
So I still think we were the inspiration for the Spice Girls.
Absolutely. Yeah, right.
Take credit for that.
See, 5 or 6 women, birds, on stage.
Please.
Yeah, Simon, it's Simon.
Girl
Hello,
power.
Simon. Simon, it's Simon. Hello, Simon. What about this? 6 birds on stage singing about bird stuff. What are you talking about? What about boy bands? Forget this. It's like a boy band, except it's birds. It's bird band. Bird band. Well, we call it bird band. No, mate, they won't go for that. Bird band, right? So things like women's rights, contraception.
Girl power.
Yeah, but for we can't just say contraception, surely. No, we just call it zippy yippee ki yay or whatever. Yeah, that will stand in for contraception, will it? Yeah, whatever, mate. Birds on band stage. I've seen this bird.
Oh my
Francis
God,
Keane.
stop.
Another bird, McAvoy, singing about woman's art. Birds with arts, mate. God. Yeah, so you were the inspiration.
Thank you.
Well done on starting the Spice Girls.
Oh my God almighty.
You know?
I'm not
Imagine,
able.
like you and Mary Coughlin going.
Mary Coughlin was on the second album, by the way, because she was really raging. She wasn't able to get on the first one, and I don't know why. She was away. She says she was away in treatment or something at the time, so she didn't get on the first one. But thankfully, Mary got on the second one.
What's the first Spice Girls song that came out?
No.
What was the songs?
Tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Yeah. Mary Coughlin doing.
Zigger, 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 ziggies, oh yeah. Zigger, zigger, ziggers, oh, feck off.
Oh, Lottie.
Ziggy, 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 ziggy.
Oh, she'll kill you, Mary, okay?
Feck off. We had there's a girl, she does a superb impression of Mary called Paula. And she does an amazing impression of Mary.
Right.
And I met her and I used to put her on some of the sketches.
Right, yeah.
The Mary we had was that she was obsessed with hoovering. That's all she wanted to do. So she'd come into a sketch,
Get out of the feckin' way, will you? I'm trying to hoover the place.
that's all she wanted to do, hoover the place. But anyway, yeah, so well done on starting the Spice Girls.
Thanks very much, Mario.
It's amazing. That's brilliant, Frances. Have you enjoyed this chat?
I have enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to meet with
Not
me.
at all. You're a legend.
I really enjoyed it. You're a legend as
And
well.
your family are legends, and it's that's it. And for Mary, that's it, is it?
Unfortunately,
She sort of
yeah.
said that's quits. Time is quits.
She's finished. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I met her for coffee like a few months before the big tour ended, and I said, "Mary, please tell me you're like not really like going to do it." No, I'm definitely
She just
going.
wants to put a cap on it now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
And
finished.
The last tour she did, it really did sell amazing, didn't it? People were.
People were screaming for
gigs?
tickets. Oh yeah, we sang the last night with her.
Where?
Black Family in Vicar Street. I was at
Great
two of
night.
her gigs. I was at the stadium one as well.
Yeah, because they sold like hotcakes. didn't they?
everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere
yeah.
was sold out, completely sold out, very quickly.
She did the stadium as well, did she?
She did the stadium. She did Vicar Street. She did Olympia.
And did all the gigs go well?
Everything sold out
And
completely.
did they go well though? Like,
Oh, she
happy?
was outstanding.
And did she?
I said to her, Mary, why are you stopping? Like, because she was back
Was she?
to her, the way she was, you know. And now she's never gone off point, but she was like, oh my
And did
God.
she sing Nadine and all that?
She sang all the old, I think she even sang Anarchy Gordon, and you know,
No
I don't know if
Frontiers.
she sang Nadine. That's a really interesting one. Like,
just have a bit of a-
she might have sang Nadine
Because
on
of
one
reeling
of them.
in the ears, it just always gets me. It makes me
Yeah.
cry.
Did you ever hear Song for Ireland?
Song for Ireland.
Oh, you have to hear Song for Ireland.
I'll put it in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. She sang, that's really now, that's her biggest hit in the US in particular.
Okay, Song for Ireland. And when you, how is your voice at the moment?
My voice is good.
Yeah.
It went off
I'm
for a
interested
while.
in how singers.
Yeah, no,
voices
I struggled many years ago. I got a bruising on the vocal cords.
Do you know how did that happen?
I'd say I just strained it, or I probably was, not minding my voice. But it was a really, really tough time. I mean, because I was still singing, but I wasn't able to sing.
Terrible. Yeah.
Oh, listen to me. But my voice
the best
is
thing
back.
For the voice is the rest.
Yeah.
The rest. You need to rest your voice.
I actually think since COVID, I have, I'm singing a million times better.
Great.
Because I wasn't gigging.
So you're in good voice.
Yeah. I don't
your
feel.
Voice had a chance to
thankfully,
rest.
I'm
so
back.
Something like Tom Jones in his 80s, and his voice is in such good nick.
Oh my God. There's some brilliant,
genetics, obviously.
Yeah. No, I think he just has, he's a man that just never wants to stop singing.
No, he doesn't.
He'll never want to stop
still has such
singing.
a powerful voice.
I don't think I ever want to stop singing either. And I don't mean that I want to be gigging all the time.
No.
But it's a very nice way of releasing, tension and getting rid of all your anxieties. And
it is what you do.
It's a form of therapy.
But it reminds me of what Glen Hansard was doing.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's been made very clear by the way people have responded online and everything, and what the stories about him is that it didn't really matter whether he was singing with 5,000 people or 3 people. He's still putting the same energy into his performance, which means he just loved doing it.
It was just passion.
He just loved doing it.
And
he
I
loved
think
to sing.
That really
and
came
that's
across. That's what you're That's where the authenticity comes in. He didn't care where he was. He just wanted to sing. My mother was like that too. And I think my family are kind of like
it's like
that.
Your mother said she just wanted to sing songs.
She would have sang for you. You bumped into my mother in the supermarket and said, Mrs. Black, give us a song. She would have not only sang, she would have danced as well.
Oh my God.
She would have done a little 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
What was her first name?
Patty.
Patty
Black.
And
Patty Daly, but
Patty
Patty
Black.
Patricia, yeah. Everybody,
Black.
and then my father called her Patsy.
Patsy.
And everybody else called her Patty.
Patty
The Dublin way was Patty. The Northern way was Patsy.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Patsy.
Patsy. Hey, Patsy.
I bet you, Patsy.
Yeah, no,
don't be calling her Patsy. It's Patty, right? And there's no double T. It's Patty. T-A-Y. Sounds like A, but there's no T's. Patty. Patty. Right? Now, hey, Patsy, shut your mouth. Brits out. Listen, brilliant. Frances, long may you reign, and I hope, and I've, social justice is an important part of who we are, and we need to be kind to people, and we need to be compassionate with people. And I think people were saying Glen was a very compassionate person as well.
He was, yeah.
And you obviously are, and we need to take care of each other.
Yeah, we need to look after our vulnerable.
Yeah,
we really do need to look after our vulnerable.
We do, and wherever we can say that, whatever forums we can say that, let's do that.
Yeah,
we need to 100%. Look after our vulnerable. And congratulations on the Rise Foundation.
Oh, thanks a million.
And addiction counselling.
Yeah.
And all of that. And, you're leading a good life.
Yeah, no, I am. And I've 2 amazing grandchildren, by the way, who I adore, and they keep me going, and that's the best thing ever. My kids and my grandkids are the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm blessed.
You keep it going, Frances.
I will. Thanks
Thank you for coming
Mario.
in. And my thanks to Frances Black for coming in to me and talking to me about her fascinating life to date. My thanks also to Home Finance for getting involved in the Mario Rosenstock podcast and becoming a partner in it. But my main thanks, of course, to you as ever. Get in touch with me if you like, mariorosenstock@gmail.com. Spread the word, press the follow button, and tell one other person you enjoyed the podcast if you did. See you same time, same place next week.
The Mario Rosenstock podcast. Thanks to Home. Finance made easy when you shop tech, electrical, appliances, kitchens, and much more. Flexify Europe Limited, trading as Home, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.